This meeting of the Starkville Board of Alderman will come to order. Please rise for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance to be followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you have before you a copy of the modified written agenda. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda as written?
There is a modified written agenda?
Excuse me, just written agenda. No, there were no modifications.
I've got a few. Under board business, I'd like to place item B on consent.
All right, proposed revision from Alderman Dumas, that was B as in boy,
That is correct.
is to place item 10B, the approval of the annual budget for the expenditure of the 2% funds for fiscal year 2013 in accordance with the requirements of House Bill 1833 and Board Resolution dated March 16th, 2004, as presented on the consent agenda. Alderman Dumas, is that your proposed revision?
It is.
Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matter's been placed on the consent agenda. Alderman Dumas, do you have further proposed revisions?
I do. Under department business, Building Codes and Planning Department, item 1 to consent.
All right, proposed revision from Alderman Dumas is to place item 11B1, the approval of P&Z item number RZ 12-01, a request by Ms. Shanistia Thompson for approval of a zoning change from R1 single family to RM mobile home located at 1646 Rock Hill Road in Ward 6 with, are there conditions on it?
Yes, there were, as conditions listed in the back.
With conditions as presented by Planning and Zoning Commission. Alderman Dumas, is that your proposed revision?
It is.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
You may.
Alderman, is your motion based on a finding of fact there's an error in the zoning map when this property was annexed in 1998?
Yes, same finding of fact as stated by Planning and Zoning.
Okay, and let me flesh that out just a little bit. Mayor, do you mind if Mr. Griffith comes forward and answers a
Not
couple
at
of
all.
questions? Ben, when this property was annexed, this territory was annexed in 1998, how many mobile homes or manufactured homes were in the area?
Mr. Latimer, we don't have an accurate count, but when they were counted in the fall of last year, there were approximately 31 manufactured and mobile homes and about 31 conventionally built homes. We know that there's been a few that have burned, there's been a few that have been demolished, there's been a few that have been relocated to other sites outside the city.
And when the property was annexed, it was annexed as R1, correct?
Yes, sir, it was.
And R1 excludes manufactured homes and mobile homes.
Yes, sir, it does.
But as you say, when that property was annexed, there was about a 50-50 breakdown between manufactured homes and mobile homes and fixed single-family homes, correct?
We believe so, yes, sir.
And since 1998, how many rezonings have occurred from R1 to another designation that would accept a mobile home or a manufactured home since 1998?
In the Rock Hill Road area, including Ms. Thompson's, it would be 7. Hers would be the 7th.
And are those the facts that you're relying on to recommend the board a finding of error?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let me state this one more time, just so everybody's clear. Proposed revision from Alderman Dumas is to place the approval of P&Z item number RZ 12-01 as presented with recommendations by the Planning and Zoning Commission based on a finding of fact that there is a zoning map error on the consent agenda. Alderman Dumas, is that your proposed revision?
That's correct.
Do I hear any objection? Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matter's been placed on the consent agenda. Alderman Dumas, do you have further proposed?
I do. Under personnel, I'd like to place all remaining items on consent.
All right, proposed revision from Alderman Dumas is to place items 11I4 through 11I9 on the consent agenda. Briefly, that is the authorization to promote Euless Gray to fill the vacant position of crew leader in the Water Division Public Services, authorization to promote James Merritt to fill the vacant position of equipment operator in new construction rehab division of public services, the authorization to hire LaDaniel Jordan and Joseph Pennell to fill the vacant position of maintenance worker in the new construction rehab division of public services, and the authorization to hire LaToya Brown to fill the vacant position of service writer in the auto maintenance division of public services, the authorization to hire Courtney Goodson to fill a vacant position of deputy court clerk in the municipal court division, the authorization to hire Michael St. Louis to fill the vacant position of electrical building inspector in the electric department, all as presented. Alderman Dumas's proposed revision is to place those matters on the consent agenda. Alderman Dumas, is that your proposed revision?
It is.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none. Those matters have been placed on the consent agenda. Alderman Dumas, do you have further proposed?
Under Police
revisions?
Department, I'd like that to remain on consent, but there's a discrepancy what's on the agenda versus what's in the packet. On the agenda, it states July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2012. In the packet, it states from June 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013. So we just need to clarify that both on the agenda and in the packet. And I don't know which dates those are supposed to be. If it's supposed to be the June 1,
It would have
2012.
to be 13.
Okay, so on both, it should be noted that it's July 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013.
All right, proposed revision from Alderman Dumas is to correct an error in the packet, to note that item 11J1 should read in all places referenced July 1st, 2012 to June 30th, 2013. Alderman Dumas, is that your proposed revision?
It is.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that revision has been made. Alderman Dumas, do you have any further
No
proposed
further.
revision? All right, are there any further proposed revisions from the members of the board?
Mayor,
Alderman Corey?
I'd like to put the minutes from July 3rd on the consent agenda with the changes put forth by the city attorney that he provided in writing, and the minutes from July 17th, 2012.
Proposed revision from Alderman Corey is to place items 4A and B on the consent agenda. 4A would go on as the approval of the July 3rd minutes as presented with changes recommended by the city attorney, and 4B would go on as the approval of the July 17, 2012 minutes as presented. Alderman Corey, is that your proposed revision?
It is.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, those matters have been placed on the consent agenda. Do we have further proposed revisions?
Yes, I would also like to pull item A under board business from the consent agenda.
All right. Item 10A under board business, the consideration of the adoption of a resolution to issue general obligation notes in the maximum aggregated principal amount of $2,240,000 has been removed from the consent agenda. Alderman Corey, was that your revision?
It is, yes.
All right. Any further proposed revisions from the members of the board? Alderman Perkins.
Mr. Mayor, just in a follow-up to the gentleman from Fort Worth, we could, with item A under board business being removed, we can move that to after citizens' comments. Mr. Wall is traveling from Jackson, and we can just get him in and out so he can get back on the highway. We can move that after citizens' comments.
Proposed revision from Alderman Perkins is to move item 10A on the agenda to be a standalone item 7 on the agenda, and all Roman numerals afterwards will be renumbered accordingly. Alderman Perkins, is that your proposed revision?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, please note the revision to the agenda. Do we have any further proposed revisions? Any further proposed revisions? Any further proposed revisions from the board? Any further proposed revisions? Seeing none, a motion to approve the agenda as revised is in order.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Corey to approve the agenda as revised. Alderman Corey, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Sistrunk. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. Okay, you do not have the approval of the consent agenda on your actual agenda. Do I hear a motion to add an approval of the consent agenda item to the agenda?
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Dumas to add an item. Why don't I have it? Okay. All right, everybody else appears to have it. Is there anybody other than me that does not have the approval of the consent agenda on your agenda? Anybody other than me? All right, so that is our agenda, no need to amend. Is there, at this time, we'll hear for the approval of the consent agenda. Is there any objection to the consent agenda as revised? Any objection to the consent agenda as revised? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Saying none, consent agenda as revised is approved. And both sets of minutes have been placed on consent, so that will take us to comments by the mayor and board, and I've got several comments tonight. First, I would like to welcome and invite a guest that we have tonight who is going to tell us a little bit more about something that I view as very good news for the citizens of Starkville, and that is we have been recently accepted to the CRS program under the National Flood Insurance Program. Some of you may have read about this in the paper. If you're like me, you may not have known what the CRS program was, and you may say, why is this relevant to me? Well, if you have flood insurance, this is going to be very relevant because it's going to result in a rate reduction for all residents in Starkville that participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. Ben Griffith, who is our floodplain manager, has done an excellent job managing our floodplain and keeping up with certifications like the CRS program. So at this time, I'm going to recognize Alex Finch from MEMA, who is going to make the official award presentation to the city.
All right, my name is Alex Finch. I'm with MEMA, Floodplain Management Bureau, and I'd like to give this plaque to the city of Starkville for joining the community rating system. They're coming in at a class 9, which will give the citizens a 5% discount in their flood insurance policies, and that classification can go down lower, depending on the activities of your floodplain management program. Here it is. All right. Somebody here. Oh, here we go. You need to.
Okay. And I've just received notice that we have a local Boy Scout that has come to attend the meeting tonight to observe city government in action. Is Ethan Holder here? Oh. Are you Mr. Holder? And I see we've got another Boy Scout in the audience. Please join me in welcoming these two young citizens who have come to observe the government. I hope this is the beginning of a long, long period of civic involvement for you. Now, I'd like to announce that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. In this room, we will be holding our public hearing for the home rehabilitation program. As you may have noted previously, as was in the paper and was on a board agenda, we will be making our third application to the home rehabilitation program this year. In 2 previous years, we have not been accepted to the program, but I do believe last year we were ever so close to receiving a home rehabilitation program grant, and I hope this year is the year for us. The way the home rehabilitation program works is the city can apply for up to 5 homes that are in a dilapidated condition to be rebuilt through a grant process. And anybody interested in being a part of the city's application for that program should come to the public hearing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in this room. Finally, I'd like to introduce the newest members of the City of Starkville workforce, and we have 3 of them to introduce this evening. First, I'd like to introduce Pamela Simpson. And Pamela Simpson is our new Deputy Court Clerk for Municipal Court. Pamela is from Starkville and graduated from Starkville High School. She attended Mississippi Valley State University. Previously, Pamela was the office manager for Keene Financial Services. Pamela is the daughter of the late Thomas Rogers and Ella Rogers. She enjoys going to church, reading her Bible, and spending time with her family and husband, Reverend Shalamark Simpson. They attend First Baptist Church in Cedar Bluff, Mississippi. Please join me in welcoming Pamela. I'd now like to introduce Tavares Smith. And Tavares will serve as a laborer in the Sanitation and Environmental Services Department. Tavares is originally from Macon, Mississippi, and graduated from Noxubee County High School. Before joining the City of Starkville, Tavares worked for Staff Made America. Tavares' parents, Annie Ivy and Elsie Rice. He has 3 sisters, Katagia, Takika, and his twin sister, Shavaris. In his spare time, Tavares enjoys watching football. He and his family attend Griffin United Methodist Church. Please join me in welcoming Tavares to the city. And finally, I'd like to introduce our new Director of Finance, City Clerk, Taylor Adams. Taylor is originally from Columbus, Mississippi, and attended New Hope High School. He is a graduate of Mississippi State University and the Holt International Business School with degrees in business. Taylor has an extensive background in business. Before joining the City of Starkville, Taylor worked at MSU as the purchasing manager, at Cadence Bank as an analyst, and in business development at Harrods in strategic marketing. Taylor and his wife Phoenix are the proud parents of 3 children, Taylor Jr., Kensington, and Hudson. They are expecting their 4th child in December. Taylor in his spare time enjoys cycling and spending time with his family. Taylor and his wife have a goal to visit all 50 states with their children before the oldest one finishes high school. Taylor and his family are members of Episcopal Church of the Resurrection in Starkville. Please join me in welcoming Taylor Adams. All right, that concludes my announcements for the evening. We have one scheduled board announcement this evening, and that is the presentation of the Employee of the Month from Alderman Perkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, to the mayor, my colleagues, members of the public, and all of you who are assembled here. It is indeed a great privilege and pleasure for me to recognize and present the Employee of the Month for August of 2012. This employee has been with the city of Starkville for almost 2 decades. Through several administrations and through many changes in leadership, this employee has shown great constancy and character in his desire to make Starkville the best that it can be. He has served when there have been gaps in leadership, and when called on to go above and beyond, he has never wavered in his willingness to participate. He has never said, "That is not my job," and has never demanded extra pay for doing any assigned task. This employee serves the mayor and board of aldermen with great conviction and loyalty, dedication, perseverance, and patience, and always seek to improve the lives of those around him. We are all the better to have him as a team member and as a friend to the city of Starkville. There has never been a time when he did not provide the best service he could with a positive attitude and a cheerful demeanor. This employee has been recognized and trusted for his genuine leadership skills and his acceptance of additional duties to supervise all aspects of the responsibilities of the department that he is assigned to. This employee has shown great skill and dedication as someone who is true to himself and his employer, and through his diligence in his work, he has received various promotions. This employee has been an outstanding leader and a valued right-hand man to his superiors for many years. The Mayor and Board of Aldermen of our great city of Starkville, Mississippi, are proud to recognize none other than the Employee of the Month for August 2012, Mr. Kevin Ware.
And thank you, Alderman Perkins, for going above and beyond to truly make this a special recognition for our employees, and you always do so, and I just want you to know that I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you and the board. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have any further comments from the members of the board? Do we have any further comments? Alderman Corey.
Yeah, one of the things that's been brought before us before has been the issue of the fact that our meetings conflict with the time of the school board meetings. And Chris, you'll appreciate this. I was told earlier today by a member of the school board that the issue of the time of their meetings was going to be on the agenda to be discussed tonight. And so it's my hope that they'll be able to work something out so that interested citizens and members of the public will be able to attend both meetings if they so choose.
Further comments from the members of the board? Do we have any further comments from the members of the board? Seeing none, we will move to citizen comments. The reordered matter on the agenda will come after citizen comments. That's where I wrote it on my agenda. Is that correct? That's right. Okay. All right. So at this time, we'll move to citizen comments, and anyone wishing to make comments this evening may do so by coming forward, introducing yourself, and you'll be recognized to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes.
Greeting to the mayor and board. My name is Alvin Turner, Ward 7. I want to recognize our Vice Mayor Sid Trump and Alderman Vaughn. The citizens only have one concern, and that is the citizens that live on where Buck Salad and Christian Faith Church is, they Kurt Circle, I think. They would like to every once in a while a police patrol the area. They don't have any problems yet, but they just want to get a jump start on. If they see the blue and white, that would deter our problem.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Further citizen comments? Do we have any further citizen comments?
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, fellow board members. My name is Chris Taylor, and I'd like to thank you all for contacting the school board, requesting that they change the dates. Next, I want to say for everyone that's running for office, this year, next year, the Democratic Party is having precinct development training next Tuesday at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock at the Sportsplex. We have our guest speaker who will be conducting training, which is Ricky Cole, who is our state chair. He coming up here to conduct it, so looking forward to seeing you, especially if you run for office next year. And think about the elections in November.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Further citizen comments, Ms. McDowell.
To the board, Daisy McDowell. I came about the Carver Drive ditch. I killed a snake in my yard. So I ask you to please check it. If you don't cover it, would you come over and see what I am going through? I know it's many more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDowell. Further citizen comments? Do we have any further citizen comments? Any further citizen comments? Seeing none, we'll move to the new item. Citizen comment? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Miles, and I live on Carver Drive. And I don't know one alderman from the other ones. So I want to address this question I have to Alderman Dumas.
That's me.
Oh, okay. But in a letter to the editor, Starkville Daily News, tax collection was all-time high. Okay, in Tupelo, they gave the $1 million to fix long-time standing drainage and sewage problems. Do you think the city of Starkville will try their best to get Carver Drive fixed? I mean, it's awful. I live there and I know. And I'm afraid to go from my backyard because I might walk up on a snake or anything out there. And so, I want you to answer that question for me.
Well, we, I don't know which board meeting it was, but we did approve a plan to fix Carver Drive in its entirety. Now, that doesn't include covering it, but it includes fixing it in the way that we typically fix ditches and other drainage areas in town, which I think will help substantially from the issue of stabilizing and cleaning it up and other things associated with Carver Ditch.
Okay, like, which, when you say, you know, how did you all, what did you all come up with outside of cleaning it and, you know, keeping it?
Well, I'll let our
roads and
city
stuff?
engineer, if you'll give me that opportunity. We have approved that. Edward, do you want to talk about the treatment that will be installed at Carver?
We have an application that's going into FEMA this week for their pre-approval before we do it. It's resloping or reshaping of the ditch bank, cleaning out the brush, fixing a lot of the erosion issues. It's very similar to what we're doing over on the west side, Northside Drive. We're nearing completion of that project. And the end result will be a resloping with a vegetated grass line channel.
Thank you, Ms. Miles.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, Ms. McDowell.
What are you planning to do with it? Put bricks or rocks in it? Because if you're putting in the rocks, you ain't doing nothing but giving snakes a bed to live. And we do not want it. Thank you.
Do we have any further citizen comments? Mr. Taylor.
I just need to clarify something. Looking at the paper, the recess meeting is next week also at the Sportsplex. We do have 2 conference rooms. So we'll be at the larger conference room in the smaller building. So it will not be a conflict.
Okay.
And you'll start at 5, and I'll start at 6.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Alderman Sistrunk, did you have something?
I was just going to
Right.
say the same thing. Thank you.
Do we have further citizen comments? Any further citizen comments? Do we have any further citizen comments this evening? Seeing none, we'll move to what has been added or what has been reordered as item number 7 on the agenda. And that is the consideration of the adoption of a resolution to issue general obligation bonds in the maximum aggregated amount of $2.24 million for the purpose of refinancing outstanding loans for public services. And at this time, I will ask Doug Devlin and Randy Wall to introduce this measure.
Mayor, I think that I think that was to be listed as $2,640,000.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah, the revised,
revised?
should have had a
It says
revised.
2.2 on here, 2,240,000.
It should be 2.6.
Okay, yeah, the resolution at the table has been revised to reflect 2.64 million.
And the reason for that was that, well, I'll explain why as I go through this process, if that's all right. The concept of this is it's a refinancing, and the reason you do the refinancing in this case is because you're getting lower rates. The original rates of the first two we were looking at were 3.5 and 4.0. Now, the process for this was that on refinancings, you don't have to do notice of intent, and you can do negotiated selling. In this case, though, Doug would let us in taking of bids from all the banks that might seem possibly interested in this. And so there were 4 banks submitted proposals, and we're recommending the lowest rate because that's what the bottom line here is. The lowest rate was submitted by Bancorp South, and for a 15-year repayment, the interest rate would be 2.12. That seems like a low rate. Sounds good to me, too. We have, I think, John Rigdon. Are you here, John? Oh, there you are. He's with Bancorp South and is moving to the area, I understand, but we appreciate that participation. The savings on this, now, I'll go through we've gone through the process, I guess. What you're doing is you're issuing some bonds. You'll pay off the other ones totally, so you'll replace those 3 revolving fund loans with this single issue. And the savings are over time. You don't get a pile of money at the front, but you will have substantial benefit over the life of the issue. Going into the numbers a little bit, the savings are, over the life of the issue, there'll be absolute dollar savings of $180,971. Now, the numbers might change a little bit because we don't know a closing date yet, but they're not going to change substantially, except that I think the numbers that we have are actually conservative because we're probably overestimating a little bit by rounding what we're going to need. So to the extent it changes, I think it'll probably be favorable. The net present value savings, the state statute on the refinancing under the statute we're moving under requires a 2.0% net present value savings. Doing a net present value calculation on the savings that we have actually produces savings of $206,000. Let's see, $206,547. That is currently an 8.04% savings compared to the state statutory requirement of 2.0. So a little more than 4 times the required savings, which is very good on the refinancing. This is bottom line savings. We're comparing apples and apples. So these are real savings, not you get savings, then you pay out some money. I appreciate all the banks that participated. They were some very aggressive responses, but we came up with the best one at 2.12. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
It's a monthly savings of about 4,000.
Doug, did you
Yeah,
say that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it'd probably be a little better than that. We may close a
Conservative
little
figures.
quicker than what Mr. Wall was saying, about 4,000.
Okay.
Doug, you want to add some comments?
No?
Okay.
Unless y'all have any questions,
I think Mr. Wall answered my questions.
Okay.
Discussion from the board.
I guess my only other question, what 2 loans are these? Were these retaining the drinking water loans, or these?
Yeah, back in the early part of this decade, the city of Starkville pretty much had outrun its capacity to produce drinking water. So we had to borrow a good bit of money, like $6.8 million in SRF loans to add more wells and tanks and filters and things like that. So interest rates were higher back then than they are now, so.
And I do have one question. I think, Mr. Wall, y'all have looked at various borrowing in the city, and between this, and I think we did this recently with some other loans, we have currently reviewed all of our debt, and there's no other opportunities there.
That's correct. Now, you will have one later, but right now,
Right.
you've got some that have higher rates than the current rates, but the call date
Too far
is not close enough yet to make that work one. But needs to be on the suspense list.
Right.
So,
Discussion. We have no motion pending. Alderman Sistrunk.
I would move that we adopt a resolution to issue general obligation notes in the maximum aggregated principal amount of $2,640,000 for the purpose of refinancing outstanding SRF loans at a lower interest rate as presented at the table.
Alderman Sistrunk has made a motion to adopt a resolution to issue general obligation notes in the maximum aggregated principal amount of $2,640,000 for the purpose of refinancing outstanding SRF loans at a lower interest rate as presented on the table. Alderman Sistrunk, is that your motion?
I think so.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Dumas. Alderman Sistrunk, do you wish to speak on the merits? Any discussion? Alderman
I
Carter.
guess my only question is, what's the difference of the 2.24 versus 2.6? Is that packet a typo, or is it?
The fees.
the I think it was 2,240,000 originally.
First one.
And the difference is that when the rate that we were getting got here good enough that we ought to look at the 3% as well. There was an issue that has about 369, almost 370 outstanding. And so the thought was, we ought to look at that, adding that in, since there could be an incremental savings there. That's the difference.
That was the rate that you're getting at 3%, and then it came in at 2.12.
Yeah.
Right.
We thought it'd be around 3.
So if you'd come in a little bit higher, we weren't gonna go for just small incremental savings, but that was big enough difference to make sense.
Okay.
You won't have any more debt, you'll just have more paid off.
Further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, that will carry us to public appearances. We have 2 public appearances scheduled tonight. You will each be given a maximum of 10 minutes, and I ask at the conclusion of your presentation, you hear any questions or comments from the members of the board. First presentation tonight is by Mr. Alvin Turner to speak on citizen concerns. Mr. Turner?
Good evening to the mayor and board. My name is Alvin Turner, Ward 7. I have 3 things that is citizens it just are they don't know what to do. The first one is and I come up the hard way. 10 biscuits, a half skillet of bread, or cheese and crackers, or I come up the hard way. This the budget, Chair. We need to stop trying to hurt each other and try to help each other. We need a budget chairman. Operating without a budget chairman, pretty soon you wind up in Aberdeen. You don't want to wind up with embezzling money when you can keep yourself from winding up in that situation. We say we don't have money, but a whole lot getting done for a city that don't have money. Somebody got money. So let's start trying to help each other. Quit trying to hurt each other. Because if you dig one ditch, you just might as well take the shovel and dig 2. Because the one that you dig for people might be the one that you fall in. Let's start trying to help ourselves and help each other. And I know let's don't wind up in Aberdeen, because that's federal. The next issue is Carver Drive. I don't understand why it's so much excuses, so much hatred, so much strife. These people pay taxes, and we want to treat them less than human. What go around, come around. You will not get out of this world without paying for doing wrong. The Bible say, love ye one another as I have loved you. All of this trying to come up with excuses not to. Come up with excuses not to do. You're only hurting yourself. Our people shouldn't have to be scared to go outside. They should. The last issue is sanitation. We did have 2 department heads. Both of them is gone. And now, what we need to understand, to keep from making another trip to Aberdeen, that we got to balance this thing out. We got to balance it out. We got to make it be fair. Because if we don't, we'll wind up back in Aberdeen. You know, and we don't want that. We don't want to feel like that we ain't got enough problems. We don't need to continue to add problems. We need to take care of some of the problems that we have. That way, the people not going to accept a new jail until you start doing for them. You start doing for them, then we will work with a new jail. But until you continue to start fight the people, it won't be one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Do we have any questions or comments from the members of the board? Any questions or comments from the members of the board? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Turner. Our final public appearance tonight is by Shelby Bailius, Student Association President, along with Bill Broyles. And just an FYI, your agenda matter has been approved tonight, but the board would still like to hear your presentation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and Board of Alderman. Thank you all for having us tonight. My name is Bill Broyles. I serve as Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, and it's our pleasure tonight to present to you the proposed budget for the allocation of the 2% food and beverage tax that comes to Mississippi State University. I've asked President Shelby Bailey, President of the Student Association, to present that to you tonight, so I'll turn that over to President Bailey.
Appreciate it, Mr. Broyles. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the approval of this year's allocations. You should have a copy of them before you, so I just wanted to go through a couple of changes that you'll see from last year to this year. You'll notice first an increase in funding for music makers, which is our student concert group that brings concerts to the campus as well as the community. We've been expanding our efforts within that organization to partner with Brickley Miller over at the Horse Park to, as you saw a couple of weeks ago, you've seen a huge increase in being able to bring those concert attendees out to the Horse Park and use that for the community use as well. Next, you'll see a significant increase in the Bulldog Bash funding. This is mainly due to our title sponsor choosing not to renew this year, so we are wanting to bring to the table as much as commitment and actually a little bit more commitment from last year to this year to make sure that we can continue on with our help to the community within bringing in the tourists to that event, as well as bringing the students and other community leaders throughout Starkville to that event. And then finally, you'll see actually a decrease in funding for the night route, which we are now calling the Downtown Dog. Reason for this is that through an evaluation of the efficiency of that route at the very beginning of the summer, I spoke with our parking services director and used a little bit of the information that she gave me about the ridership of that, and to make sure that we are actually spending money on something that's being used efficiently. Made a few changes and adjustments there, as well as secured some internal university funding to cover a portion of that as well. So like I said, we appreciate your continued support of our 2% distributions, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Do we have any questions or comments from the members of the board? Any questions or comments from the members of the board? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that will carry us all the way to board business. And first matter for your consideration under board business this evening is the adoption of redistricting plan 4A as presented by Golden Triangle Planning and Development District. We have Mr. Sanford, our consultant, with us tonight. Mr. Sanford, would you like to make a brief presentation?
Yes, sir. I'd like to show you the few changes that we made in Plan 4 from Plan 4A. Mayor and honorable board, a few changes that we made from Plan 4 were on university. We moved all of it back to Ward 4. Make sure that all of that was back into Ward 4. And to offset that, Ward 5 had to come down just a little bit more and over a little bit more than it previously did in the other plan. We moved off of Shepherd Street. There's a little circle right there. We moved that out of Ward 6 and into Ward 5. And we had made, somebody had called that we had moved was it a zoning and commissioner?
Planning and zoning.
South Lafayette.
Out of Ward 7 into 5, and then we made sure we moved them back into them. And other than that, it's all the same as far as Plan 4.
What is the consideration on the zoning commissioner? Is that something we need to consider, or is that a political thing, or what was that?
It is not one of the standard Justice Department factors.
It did not hurt the plan. It just moved him back in.
Ultimately, and Mr. Sanford, you correct me if I misstate anything, there are criteria that the Justice Department requires you meet, and then beyond that, there are policy decisions that the elected officials make. This would fall into the latter category.
Falling into the elected officials. And I would assume it's so that they wouldn't have to find another Planning and Zoning Commissioner. All the numbers pretty much the same. If you look at your table, it didn't change very much. We're sitting at 9.05%, well under the 10%. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, may I be recognized?
You may.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I want to commend the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District for having done a very thorough, meticulous job in making the presentations to us on this redistricting plan, and they certainly have genuinely explained things real well to us. I have looked at that the plan that is presented to us tonight. It is my legal opinion, and looking at the totality of the facts and the circumstances, that it should gain easy approval from the United States Department of Justice. I say that because it is my further legal opinion that the plan meet all of the federal requirements, including the requirements of the Voting Rights Act. One little housekeeping matter, Mr. Toby, before I make the motion, right there on Rock Hill Road, in this little housekeeping matter, Treasure Lane there, just for the record, we don't have to move that out because it's very clear that Treasure is located on the northern end of Rock Hill Road, so we approve that. We already know where Treasure is, not in 5, it's across the bridge on lower end. Yes, sir. So, Mr. Mayor, in light of the comments that I made, I move approval of Plan 4A as presented tonight for submission to the Department of Justice, and with the understanding that the said plan should be used for the municipal elections beginning in 2013.
Alderman Perkins has made a motion to approve of redistricting Plan 4A as presented for submittal to the United States Department of Justice, with the understanding that this plan will be submitted to be used in municipal elections for 2013. Alderman Perkins, is that your motion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Carver. Alderman Perkins, would you like to speak on the merits?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Alderman Perkins' motion, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed, please signify by raising your hand. By a vote of 7 in favor with 0 against, this measure passes. And the next matter on the agenda is also related to redistricting, and that is the consideration of authorizing all necessary and proper steps. We actually may have gotten this one for submission, approved for submission to the Justice Department. Do you feel like you have sufficient language in that first motion, or would you like a belt and suspenders?
Let's go ahead and give it a second.
Okay.
So move. Mr. Mayor, I'm going to second the gentleman from 7th motion with that motion to include, if with an okay from the gentleman, that motion includes that our city engineer will prepare the legal description for all of the ward lines in the Plan 4A is approved, and the city engineer needs to have that back before the board as expeditiously as possible for our approval and consideration.
It can't be simple. We need the written description before we can send it to the department.
Okay, so Alderman Perkins, is your addition to the motion to direct the city engineer to prepare all necessary documents for submittal to the Department of Justice?
Including, well, no.
Just the description.
Just the
The
description.
legal descriptions.
Right.
That's all we need is the legal description.
For the city engineer to prepare all legal descriptions necessary for the submittal to the Department of Justice. Okay, so Alderman Vaughn, do you accept Alderman Perkins changed your motion as friendly? All right, Alderman Vaughn's motion is to authorize all necessary and proper steps for the submission of the approved redistricting plan to the Department of Justice for pre-clearance as presented, and including directing the city engineer to prepare all legal descriptions necessary for the submittal. All right, Alderman Vaughn, is that your motion? Motion. Do I hear, and it's been seconded by Alderman Perkins. Alderman
Yes,
Perkins,
sir.
you second?
Yes, sir.
Discussion. Any discussion? Any, Alderman
I
Carver?
just got a comment before this vote. I do want to say I was highly impressed with you guys working and what y'all have done, and listening to you on the deviations and things that are over our head. You definitely know what you're doing. had a pretty tough job, you know, negotiating between all interests and meeting all the obligations, but I was really highly impressed.
We've enjoyed working with you.
Further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. Thank you, gentlemen, and I will echo Alderman Carver's sentiments. Excellent job throughout the entire process.
And I will be in touch with all the pieces of paper that we need to go into this. We'll need the board minutes after they're approved at your next meeting and all of those kind of things. And I'll be in touch with you.
Sounds good.
Mr. Mayor, one last thing. Mr.
Yes.
Toby.
Thank you.
There are a couple of letters that you want to make sure it's included in the submittal before you get, you
Yes.
understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I wish we could have got that in the minutes, and it could have.
We'll have it next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
But can you add it to what we're submitting to the Department of Justice in the minutes?
When we get the description, we can add that in there with the, you know, we got to approve the legal description.
That sounds good.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Toby.
The next matter on the agenda is a report on the evaluation of operational and financial efficiencies in the Sanitation and Environmental Services Department. Alderman Parker?
Okay, Mayor, I will be glad to go over, I think we all got the document that Ms. Brule prepared, going over our cost, our income, cost, everything from our sanitation department. As we all know, back in 2010, the rate for our sanitation rate was raised to $13, which is up from $10.50. There was an oversight, you know, during that period where that new rate didn't get collected for a period of about 5 or 6 months. So that kind of, for that fiscal year that happened, that kind of put the sanitation department in a negative. They didn't have as much collections as they anticipated, so that affected their budget slightly. That in turn kind of dominoed and it allowed, sanitation has their own ending fund balance, and they did have to dip into that ending fund balance slightly to balance their budget last year. So that's in effect what prompted, you know, this study to see where we were this year, how things were affected, and the fact that we're in the process of hiring a sanitation head. After looking through all the budgets, basically all the budgets seem to be fairly balanced, fairly in order. If you look at the very last page, there is a, you know, from what our expected revenue is, which is fairly stable, other than commercial, that can fluctuate, but it's been very, very strong. So if you look at our revenue of the department and what the expenses of the department are, we're very, very close to balancing this year. There are some operational costs that will fluctuate, as in cost of garbage bags. We've got that as a line item of $120,000. We have been spending less than that when we bid those out, so that's something where we could have savings. Cost of overtime, administrative cost, and then miscellaneous. Those are line items that we really could, those could fluctuate down from a conservative nature. If you look at the numbers in the spreadsheet, there's about a $60,000 difference right now. So, you know, I don't think, at this point, I don't think we need to make any wholesale changes by any means until our new sanitation director gets in place, and let them look at the operational efficiencies and let them, you know, take their own view of everything. One recommendation, if we had to do something, if we get closer to the end of the year and we see that we're going to have to do something, one recommendation we could consider is for the garbage bag distribution, we could consider going to a pickup rather than a hand delivered. The hand delivering the garbage bags that's part of our cost of overtime, and that's it's a high cost that we incur. So we could consider going to a pickup schedule where each resident could come pick up their garbage bags twice a year. We would not in any way discontinue that service. That's just something that we could look at in the future. That's not something I'm proposing tonight by any means, but as the budget gets closer and we can analyze where our budget is, that's one of the considerations we could have. Other than that, The department runs very efficiently. I don't think, of all of our departments, this is an extremely efficient, extremely customer service oriented department. And as Alderman Perkins denoted tonight, Calvin is a key component of that and does an outstanding job. And Ms. Boyd was a great department head as well. So this is really a really good department. And I look forward to interviewing the candidates for our next department head next week and moving it forward in that manner. Any questions?
Questions for Alderman Parker? Seeing none, that will carry us to the consideration of the selection of candidates for the interview process for Sanitation and Environmental Services Department head. Discussion.
I'd like to
Alderman
move
Carver.
approval. I'd like to move approval of all, is it 5 candidates?
Five and
Or is it 4? It's 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to move approval of all 5 candidates making it to the interview process.
Alderman Carver has made a motion to approve of the interview of all 5 candidates selected to interview for the position of Department Head of Sanitation and Environmental Services. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Dumas. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
I see multiple hands.
Yeah,
Alderman
but
Parker?
Just to be clear, we had, I think, 26 applicants, is that right? And these
Yes.
are the 5 that have been, these are the 5 that are considered to be the top 5 candidates of those 26.
The
Correct.
5 presented referenced in Alderman Carver's motion are Percy Burnell, Emma Gandy, Jim McReynolds, Joe Reed, and Charles Tillery. Further discussion. Alderman Vaughn.
Can we add any more to it? Or this is
You can
what
make
we're
an
going to-
amendment to his motion if you'd like.
I'd like to make an amendment to it, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
I would like to add Ms. Chantel Wilson to that.
Alderman Vaughn has made a motion to amend the list of interviewees to add Chantel Wilson to the interview list. Alderman Vaughn, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Do I hear a second? That motion has been seconded by Alderman Carver. Alderman Vaughn, you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion, any discussion, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Alderman Vaughn's motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. List now stands at 6 candidates to be interviewed. Further discussion on main motion. Alderman Corey.
I wasn't sure if this was clear in the motion or not, but are the interviews to occur at the next scheduled meeting or?
Next Tuesday.
Oh, okay. My apologies. All right, thanks.
All right. Further discussion. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. And yes, that will be for the public, 5 o'clock next Tuesday, August 14th, at the Sportsplex. Very, very similar to the way the process was managed for Finance Director, City Clerk. All right, the next matter on the agenda is a report on the status of research on automated meter reading providers and technology improvements for the electric department. Mr. Kemp?
Board, just a quick update on that. As we said several months ago, as we started this process, we had gone through a criteria to identify a system that we could deploy here in Starkville that meet our future needs as it relates to rate changes and also products and services that we will ultimately offer to our customers. Some of the criteria that we set up early was making sure that it was very compatible with SEDC, which was our billing association, which I think is critical. We also needed a system that worked very good with both water and electric, and I talked, Doug and I have been working real closely to make sure that both utilities could be deployed in kind of a systematic business approach over time, which was another consideration. The other one was how we would do customer interface, and I want to come back to that one a little bit as we get more involved in that part of it. But as we look at the system that we think we would recommend here for the city, those are some of the characteristics I think we need. We have learned a lot over the past year, and I will say from technology, there's been a lot of improvement. So we are positioned, I think, in a great place to make a good choice in the coming months, do something that will not only meet our immediate needs, but actually can meet our needs for future times in the past. Because that was the other thing we didn't want to do, is jump in and have to make a change 2 or 3 years into that. Hopefully, we're going to try to minimize that. We've approached this 2 ways, is really understanding what we need to be able to carry out that criteria, but also interfacing with customers and providers of their technology. And we've done that by actually doing research on the metering equipment, the MDM, which is the data management systems, but also their technical capabilities to resolve issues. We've done that by doing plant visits and site visits here better to understand that. And we are to the point now, I hope, after a few more visits on the technical side, to be bringing back an RFP within the next couple of months that we can go out and then move through that process and then hopefully have a selection made. So that's kind of where we are. I feel very confident that we'll have a good choice or 2 to pick from in the near future. I will also just bring up the fact of a status on our fiber project that we've talked about as well. That's going extremely well. We think we're on schedule. It becomes the backbone, as we talked about it, to be used for some of the infrastructure for our AMI system as we further deploy that. So here again, that will be an integral part of the future deployment. The other item that's on the agenda tonight talks about the mobile apps and interfacing with the customers. As I said earlier, that's a big consideration, something we've really focused on to make sure as we go into this, it's also an operational issue from the utility perspective, but it also provides an opportunity for the customers to be better informed, to be a part of managing their own consumption and usage, and then at the same time have a process that makes doing business with us even easier. Tonight, the apps is one thing we bring forward. We can deploy that today, and really it really gets to the point of more and more people are on the go. They want easier access to make payments, to look at their bills. And so this is a product that is a service that's offered through SEDC that we'd like to make available to all those customers. And it can also be an opportunity to build on. Because right now they can do with bill payments, but as we go into further deployment, they'll be able to access more and more data for real time that we would actually have access through our AMI system.
Question about that, pretty interesting. I see not only for the fact that they can pay the bill online, but will they be getting notifications if they've missed a payment or they're fixing to be, I see one of them says a power outage may occur? Or?
It's just another way to do that, and you're exactly right, Alderman. Right now, they have a feature we encourage people to sign up for alerts and reminders.
Yes.
A lot of that would go through their email. This is just another, I guess you'd say, another device that now gives them easier access. And we're finding more and more of our customers, that's the way they want to do business. But clearly, alerts and reminders would be a part of this.
So the total cost is $1,500 setup and then $100 a month, and then with
that would be managing through SEDC to make the accounts fit. And then the only other feature would be so that we can offer these as apps through Android and iPhone. There's a one-time yearly just subscription to that, just to make that available. So that would be our cost.
So you also anticipate this helping you with collections? I mean,
I think it
quicker and
does.
more
I think it
efficient.
makes it easier for people to pay and then constantly reminding them so that they, that they're aware of what's going on. And I do think it'll be a huge benefit down the road if we further deploy the AMI, that they can use these devices to actually access what their daily usage are. So we'll be able, over time, we can't now, but I envision over the next couple of years, giving them more real-time data and they can access it through their phones.
If we employ this tonight, do you think that maybe, I think this is a good app. Do you think it should be put into like a regular hard paper? If once somebody learns about this and they got an iPhone, they're technically capable to do it, I think they utilize it. But do you think we can include this in maybe a month or two of their electric bill? It's invaluable unless they know about it. So
We'd like to do that, get everything in place, and then definitely make everyone aware of it.
A little
Encourage
tutorial.
them to look at it, and then we can help them get it set up if needed.
Further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion?
Move approval. There's nothing to approve. On the last part of that agenda item, there was there not?
Yeah, we want to, move on.
To the
get
authorization.
everything in place.
All right, motion by Alderman Dumas is to approve for SED to provide SEDC mobile apps to utility customers. Alderman Dumas, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Carver. Alderman Dumas, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. Thank you, Mr. Kemp. The next matter on the agenda is a request for approval of the City of Starkville claims docket for the fire department as of August 2nd.
I'm gonna recuse myself.
We'll give Alderman Carver a moment to exit the room.
Move approval.
Motion has been made by Alderman Dumas to approve of the City of Starkville claims docket for the fire department as of August 2nd, 2012. Alderman Dumas, is that your motion?
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Corey. Alderman Dumas, do you wish to speak on the merits?
I do not.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Saying none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Let's try that one more time. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. And we'll give Alderman Carver a moment to re-enter the room. That will exhaust our open session portion of the agenda tonight. At this time, a motion to move into closed session to determine whether there is a need for executive session is in order.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Dumas to move into closed session to determine whether there is a need for an executive session. Alderman Dumas, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Parker.
It was Parker.
Yeah.
Alderman Dumas, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Saying none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. And at this time, we'll give everybody a moment to clear the